Hello and welcome to the first tutorial on Adobe Illustrator. So the first thing we want to do in Illustrator is open it up, just double click on it, and then we're going to go to File and Open, as you can see, like any other program, or Command and O if you're on a Mac, or Control and O on a PC. So File Open will bring up this dialog box here. Okay, so we can choose specific files to open. So if I go to Tut Illustrator is where I keep my work. I have two files in here, printwork.ai and iVector. So I can open that and it'll open the document for me. So this is my printwork.ai. Okay, so if I was just to create something new, so if I close this dialog box, printwork.ai here, it'll bring up this box here. So I'm trying to create a new document. So I'd also do that by just going to File and New inside of Illustrator. So this gives us various options inside here. Some presets. Down the left hand side here you can see previous work that I've had open recently. I can also choose Open here to open a specific document. And I can choose presets, such as a print document. So if I click on print, I'll get some options inside here, inside a new document. And I can also change from print to web to mobile devices, video and film, or basic CMYK or RGB, whatever you're using. So on my print document here, this changes certain options, such as we've discussed before, CMYK, which we're going to use for print, would be RGB for the screen. And we also have 300 pixels per inch, and so it's setting up everything nice and easily for me straight away. So it knows this is going to be a document that's going to be printed out, and then I can choose a specific size of document down here. So that can be A4, A3, B5, B4, and you can also customize the width and height of a new document by clicking in here. So if you know the size of your specific document, when you're doing your project, if you chose to do researched and found out the size of a printed sign for the size of a bus, or either or your let's say a Colgate chewing gum box, then you can enter specific numbers in here. The cool thing is that you can convert to different units. So you mightn't have measured stuff in, let's say, if it was already set to pixels, so you might want to change that to millimeters. In Europe here we'll be using millimeters much more than inches, which would be in the US. So we change that to millimeters, and you can enter your own size of document inside there. Okay, and if you're unsure of what that is in pixels, anything is in pixels, then you can just change that to pixels down here, and you can see that exact measurement of millimeters will convert that to pixels for you straight away. Okay. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to open up those two documents that I showed you before. So we're going to go to File and Open, and then choose iVector.ai. You could just open that there, or you could hold down Shift to open both of them at the same time, and left click on those two files. Okay, so my two documents are open now, printwork.ai and iVector.ai. Okay, so like Photoshop, you have different tabs here. You can click and drag them out to have them in separate windows. You might be used to the tabs if you're working in any new versions of Internet Explorer or Google Chrome, whatever web browser you're using. And if I want to tab those back into each other, just to make things nice and neat, I'm just going to click and hold it over the other tab bar. So you'll see it disappear, and then let go, and it tabs the two files again. Okay, so this is an easy way of switching between our documents. Each of these documents will have, its own set of layers, so they're separate documents. Now another way to start to view these different tabs, or to bring them out, is to go to Window up here, click Arrange, and click Float All in Windows, and that'll put them all out in separate windows for you. So that's one other option. Second one would be to go up to your Illustrator toolbar here. We have a window called Arrange Documents. So here at the moment we can choose our layout. So we can choose, if we had, at the moment we only have 2 documents open, so we can choose different ways of viewing them. So if I choose 2 up, you can see it tiles them across the screen for me, so I can view them both at the same time. So it depends what the documents you're working with. If you want to view them in different ways, you can do this here. Okay, so the basic layout is pretty similar to Photoshop. So you have different windows that do different things. So basically we have around four different sections that we can take a look at. So in any program, like any program up here, you have different options. Up here you have the windows where you can open different window palettes. So if we want to look at the brushes, we could just click on that, and over here we get our brushes options open. Okay, so I'm just going to close that for now. So you can do that with all these different options here. Okay, so you have different ways of viewing things, different effects you can apply, and we'll be showing you some of those as we go along. Okay, and then you have your different preferences in Illustrator that you can set over here, and we'll be setting a few of those in a little bit. Down the left hand side, similar to Photoshop, you have different tools inside here. In case, depending on your version of Illustrator, you might have some windows that are opened already. So if we want to close a window to its collapse, just to the basic icons, we just click this button up here to collapse it, and we just have a few different options open here. And we can choose which options we have in our kind of shortcut menus here, and we'll be doing that in a second. So customizing your interface to just have open what you need to use. Down the left hand side here we have our different tools. Your selection tool, direct selection tool, we'll see what those do in a minute. Magic wand tool, lasso tool, pen tool which you'll be using in a while to primarily use the pen tool for drawing, and use it for drawing, and type tools for text. So similar to Photoshop, shape tools for drawing shapes, and we have a couple of other different options as we go down here, and we'll get to see some of those as we go along. Probably most importantly down here, what we'll be using is the artboard tool. Okay, so I'll be explaining in a minute what artboards are. That's how Illustrator works. And same as Photoshop, similar, we have fill. So if we draw a shape, it will fill with this color. If we double click on here, we can change the color of our fill. So if we drew a shape, now we could fill it to, let's say, black or orange or white or whatever color you want to change it to. Also behind here is the stroke color. So stroke is, let's say, if you draw a line, it'll just draw a line in whatever color you've chosen, and this instance is just set to black. So you could set that to red. If you're drawing a line, it'll draw a red line. Okay,